Alright then, Last of Us Episode 2 finally dropped and, well, I gotta say, the Mandalorian and Lady Mormont is doing just fine. Oh hey, I make content no matter what, so if you enjoy it, well, come support and join the YouTube members. Now with the second episode, we finally get to see a little bit more of the world, or at least the way the producers of the TV show actually imagined the game's world to be like, and it's not disappointing. Although some places are questionable, but regardless, we'll talk about those. To basically recap the episode, this time we open up with a 10-minute padding of the outbreak scenes before we really get into The Last of Us. Essentially, the episode deals with world building, showcasing the really beautiful vistas of the city being overgrown and crumbling to dust, including showcasing how the zombies apparently work. Throughout the episode, characters mention a couple of things about the zombies and how the fungi work, as apparently these organisms are connected, and especially through the ground, as it would notify if you would step on someone or harm one of them. And though it is different from the game, I'm willing to let it slide, at least for now, as ultimately it's not about the zombies or that outbreak, but rather about the characters, and we'll see how that develops further. However, we are still faced with the fact that spores or the spore clouds are really not mentioned, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. But returning to the characters, essentially throughout the episode there are these little character moments, these character building moments that make for a really interesting and honestly fun experience, as you learn about who Joel and Ellie are. At the start of the episode, characters learn that Ellie is immune, and that plays in later down the line as they are faced off with a couple of, I think they were called clickers, right? Yes, I have played the game. And speaking of those zombies, it's really nice to see the costumes for them, because it's really close to the game's design as well. And the little action scene as they are fighting the two zombies all together makes for a rather intense moment overall, and it's not oversold or overdone. It wonderfully showcases how zombies work themselves as well as their strength, and how much threat each one of them poses. And at the end of the scuffle, they also showcase that, oh no, Ellie has been kinda scratched or bitten, but you know, we know that she's quote-unquote immune, so it probably would be fine, probably? But the characters don't know it, and they showcase it, and that's a wonderful moment too. Well, Tess has sprained an ankle, and that one is a bit, I would say you wouldn't walk on that one, but then again, Tom Cruise has ran on a sprained ankle, so what the fuck do I know? But the biggest change really has to do with the zombies, and particularly the end of the episode and how it plays out. So the episode established that essentially the fungus is connected to some way. And if you harm one of them, if there is the area of the fungus network around, every zombie out there will know where you are and go after you. But that wasn't the case in the game. See, the episode's end deals with the fact that they reveal Tess has been bitten and she's got nothing left to lose, while the meeting place for the Fireflies has been raided by someone. But the difference is that one of those dead Fireflies who were supposed to meet Ellie there was turning and is now a zombie and gets killed, and of course all the zombies around are informed. Yet in the game, a military truck turns up and Tess stays back to quote-unquote give them time to escape. Well, in the TV show the same happens, but the zombie horde is coming after them, and that is a bit odd. Ultimately, it doesn't change the pacing or events that happen in the game as well. But then there are just some weird screenwriter stupid moments, like for example, Tess pouring gasoline on the ground and grenades, and yet still chooses to use a broken lighter rather than one of those perfectly fine grenades to light it all off. I guess screenwriters just simply wanted to show off that cool effect of Frenching a zombie. Yay!
You want us to just leave you here?
Yes.
There is no way that...
I will not turn into one of those things.
But there we go, finally everything explodes and blah blah blah, and now Joel and Ellie goes off to their own adventure, and yeah, overall the episode is beautiful. But now we got to talk about the two big problems that people had after the first episode, and now definitely with the second episode will be as well, and that is the spores, right? So the game made a big deal about actually having spores or wearing gas masks to avoid getting infected by spores, and that is the case here as well. There's only one mention for spores, and there's the big guy that spews spores, the boss monster or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, we'll see probably that. In fact, we will see that because the trailer already has shown it to a certain degree. But spores apparently are not a thing, and yeah, that's kind of the problem to a certain degree, because spores themselves, you know, it's fungi, right? It does reproduce by spewing spores and infecting organisms around it, or rather spreads itself through those, rather than Frenching living beings or biting them only. That kind of neuters the whole spore thing, the whole fungi itself, because spores are probably the most important part about the fungi's spread and the way it spreads. But the TV show has chosen not to include it, apparently, at least yet. And yeah, that does feel like they neuter the whole infection stuff. And the other problem was, of course, Ellie's choice of cast, if you will. Lady Mormont, or specifically the Kid Ramsey, that she's just not quite Ellie. But you know, there is a reason why people choose specific actors for specific roles, specific characters. Not only because they look like them, but also because they can act like them. And yes, Ramsey knows how to act Ellie. At least she's been given decent amount of direction to be Ellie, but specifically, she's just too tall. So overall, that's the Last of Us TV show. It'll be interesting to see what or how they develop Ellie and Joel as they go on. And sure, as any TV show, it has its problems, but for now, the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. So as always, thanks for watching, and do let me know if this sort of a format is something you'd like to see more. And in the end, after, alright, so the update about Velma, no, I quit. I fucking quit. It's a piece of garbage. Do not watch it. It's just absolute garbage. No.